Hello, everyone. This is Gabriel, and this is the Rise Atlantis show. Today is Thursday, 8 p.m., February the 1st, 2018. So, the topic for today will be how we should humble ourselves more. I know it's hard when people make us angry and things they do, they're conceited, and the things they say, and it makes us angry, but we need to humble ourselves and not be angry. And also to do away with the materialism. So that'll be the topic for today. I increased the lighting. I think it looks way better. I don't know what this spot right here, that's right there, that's from the laptop. So now that I brought the lighting in more, it makes it look better now. My face isn't so dark, so it looks better. I still have the glow in the background. I still need to get a fluorescent background. I could pick up the black light better. Okay, so I believe the music's good, the microphone volume's good. We are ready to roll. Let's see here. So yeah, now that I increased the light there, it's like kind of like in my eye. Like if I look at it, it's blinding, but if I look at the camera, I have to just kind of ignore it. I mean, it's weird. I don't know if that made me go blind or not. It's like I don't know how to say it. Looking at the sun, you're not really looking at it, but it's always there. So, I mean, I could put like a screen over that light, but I'm not sure if it'll darken it too much. So, it's the first time I had the light like that. I really don't know how to, should I leave it like that or not? Even though I'm not looking directly at the light, is it going to make me go blind? So, I don't know. I may have to keep alterating the light. I wish I didn't have that black thing here, this from the laptop, and I wish it didn't show that. So I mean, I could hang the light higher, but if I have the ceiling light on, it's way too bright. You can't even notice the background. See, I want to have this show stand out with a good background and all. I don't want it to just be a regular white wall or a regular design that's always the same. I want to keep switching up the designs and the black light with the fluorescent to really make a nice glow. So so we have it like this for now. And then I may change it. I don't know how, but I may like alter it, keep making it better and better. So we'll go ahead and get started into the news segment. Let's see, what's the first story? The first story is a trio of weird spears landed in Peru. It was a community in Peru shaken over the weekend with 3 steel balls that landed from the sky with the loud boom. Okay. And see what else it says here. The round oddities initially make people wonder if they were meteors or a U.f.o. However, examination officials quickly determined that they had a celestial origin of sorts, that they may be more warriorsome than an alien invasion. They're saying it's maybe space junk falling from a satellite or rocket and then crash to the ground. People are wondering if they were meteorites. But they're saying there's so much space junk in the atmosphere, hovering over our heads all the time. So let's see if I can get a clear picture on how they look. Let's see here. This is how they look. Now they're not perfect spheres, but they do look something man-made. So they do look man-made. They're not like they're somewhat perfectly shaped, and that's 3 of them. So they haven't opened it yet to see what's in it, but they do look man-made. So they don't look like meteorites, unless meteorites formed in the perfect way that it creates it perfect. But the odds of that are very high. Next story. A truck driver plows over Peru's 2,000-year-old Nazca lines, leaving deep scars. Now, it doesn't really show the Nazca lines. It shows it like it's very small. Let's see if I can. There's maybe a better picture there, but it doesn't really show how they look like Nazca lines. I mean, that just looks like someone drove over it with a car or something, you know? See, what else does it say? So when he drove over it, caused significant damage to the UNESCO World Heritage Site. The driver, identified as a 40-year-old named Jeer or Heiner Jesus Flores Vigo, was detained and released according to newspaper Peru 21. Let's see here. The Nazca lines depict animals, plants, imaginary creatures, including the hybrids that they worship as the aliens. Let's see here, what else? And geometric figures miles long. Okay, so the Nazca lines stretch across the area of about 280 square miles. So you figure how long 1 mile is. This thing's pretty big. So he just drove over a small piece of it. It's not like he ruined the whole thing, you know. So CMC's maybe some kind of protester who could be protesting, you know, the hybrids and the worship of extraterrestrials that these images depicted. So he could be some kind of protester, you know. Although, you know, messing with what's it called? With how do you say that word? Historical. Messing with historical sites is wrong, you know. Like, how would it be if, you know, doing this is as bad as defacing the pyramids? Although there are lots of stuff weird in the pyramids. I heard people say they want to destroy them. It can never happen, you know, because the freedom of knowledge and research should keep it there, so it could be an everlasting reminder on what happened to the Egyptians, and maybe extraterrestrials came down and they got too advanced, like the Tower of Babylon, and God destroyed it. And maybe God left the pyramids there as a sign of a doomed megalopolis that was destroyed by God. And maybe they got too far into science, they started cloning humans like they're starting to do now. They started creating half human, half animal hybrids, worshiping them as gods. It is happening now. So maybe this guy was a protester, but it gives no person the right to deface historical landmarks. In a world first. Okay, hold on. I hate how it loads. Okay, in a world first, scientists are growing new ears for children with microtia. Now, I've never heard what microtia means. Let's see here. What is microtia? A condition that affects the function and appearance of the ear. I guess when they're born. So, are they growing this on mice and rats like they did before? Remember that picture of the ear on the back of a mouse? Let's see if, wow, these are 3D printed. So they're starting to 3D print organs. That's cool. I'm kind of for it and against it, but what if it goes on to the realm of Frankenstein technology, and where they create organs 3D printed that don't work right, you know. So they really have to get the science down 100% before they start going gung ho, as they call it, and start going all out. They have to really get the science perfected, and it's really hard to do, you know. So now they want to start 3D printing organs. And of course, only the rich is going to afford it. They need to make it for everyone to afford it. Did you guys hear about this? A teen girl, I believe she was 12 years old. She shot, no wait. How old was she? It doesn't say, but I remember hearing on the news on TV that she was 12. So I'm trying to get her exact age. Still can't find it. I guess they're keeping her age. They're not revealing it because she's a minor. But that's weird. They're mentioning the victims. The 15-year-old boy was shot, transported to a trauma center. A 15-year-old girl also with a gunshot wound was taken to the hospital in fair condition. A 30-year-old woman was not shot but suffered unspecified minor injuries. They're not saying how old the shooter was, the female. I believe she was 12 years old because I heard it on the news. So can you believe that we're starting to have little girl shooters now in schools? What's this world come to, you know? For a while, it's been nothing but boy shooters, you know? They've been like 13 and under, which is rare, but the majority is like 15, 16-year-olds in high school. But now we're seeing in elementary school, middle school, a 12-year-old girl shooting up a school. What's this world coming to, you know? Man, that's crazy. So they're not saying her age. They're not even saying her name. Let's see here. The gunfire erupted shortly before 9 a.m. at Salvador B. Castro Middle School. Salvador, that sounds like maybe a Christian or Catholic school. Crazy. There's even shootings happening at Christian and Catholic schools now. So, you know, it's getting very crazy. God help us. You know, this is why I keep saying we need metal detectors in every building. But it just takes so long for the government to pass this as a law. It needs to be a law for metal detectors in every building. Then you're going to have people saying, oh, that's a New World Order. That's violating their rights to live in a free world and blah, blah, blah. You know, but if it protects the greater good, then we need metal detectors. Who cares what all these nutcases say? You know, that it says, oh, it's violating their rights and this and that. You know, a lot of people say it's New World Order, but it's going to be a good New World Order we need. We don't need the bad New World Order. And you know, the bad New World Order is when they start well, a bad New World Order is where it gets too the military becomes too involved in the cities. And that's more than just SWAT. It's like, you know, where all your rights are taken away. and for this, for people to say that it's their right to walk in the store without a metal detector, it's like saying they don't care about people getting shot, and that's wrong. What would Jesus say? Jesus say, yes, we need metal detectors. Then you have the health nut saying the metal detectors are going to mess up their health, so it's very complicated. I know it's not going to be easy to bring in metal detectors everywhere, but we need it. Next story, Cuba state media. Fidel Castro's son has killed himself. They don't say why. He was 68. I mean, he's pretty old. He lived a long life. But when you get an 80, 90, that's technically old. You know? 90 is like, we all be lucky we can live up to 90 with the pollution in our skies nowadays. I'm telling you, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but you know, we still have to breathe in the pollution. Of course, it's not as bad as China. They have to wear the masks over there, but it's still bad here, you know. let's see. So why did he commit suicide? I'm not saying. His nickname was Fidelito or Little Fidel. What was his name? His name was Fidel Castro Diaz Balart. He was in a deeply depressed state. A brief note read on state television said his treatment had required a hospitalization regime, then outpatient follow-up. So I guess he was depressed that he was already dying, so he just wanted to finish it off. It's crazy though. It makes me wonder, do people commit suicide? Do they go to hell or do they go to purgatory? I like to believe they go to heaven. A lot of Christians say no, they go straight to hell. So it's very hard to try to talk with parents and friends and relatives who have had people commit suicide. It's very hard for Christians, for them just to come up to the family and friends of them and say, oh, you know, your loved one is in hell. That's not what Jesus wants us to say. I mean, a wise way would say was maybe they're in purgatory and they have to work their way through heaven. But don't say that they're in hell. That just makes people angry at you, and it causes a rift, you know. Just like when Christians and Catholics, they bash homosexuals, you know. I'm not saying they're bad or anything, you know. I want us all to coexist and live together in harmony. So of course I'm not for gay marriage, but I'm not for anger being directed to them. I want us all to coexist and live together. You know, so that's my take on that. Basically, he maybe committed suicide because he was already dying. They're not saying what he had, so a lot of that stuff is like not revealed yet. You know the rapper, they call him gangster rapper Snoop Dogg, debuts his new gospel album. So Snoop Dogg is having a spiritual enlightening moment. That's awesome. He's making a new album that's all gospel. That's pretty cool. It's going to be called Snoop Dogg Bible of Love. Wow. He's like one of the main gangster rappers to go gospel, you know. Now, I'm pretty sure he's still going to be with hip-hop, rap, but I'm pretty sure he's cleaned up his image. Hopefully he stops cussing in his music. This is awesome. We should support him. He's definitely on the right track. For rappers to talk about, to cuss and talk about the struggle is one thing because they're growing up in it. But when they make it out of that, they shouldn't be in that mentality anymore. I mean, yeah, remember your roots, but don't keep cussing. Don't live immoral anymore with drugs, gangs, crime. You know, all the women. You know, try to clean your life up. You know, if you come from the hood and you're rapping about the hood, that's one thing. But once you make it out the hood, better yourself and you know, that's my advice to all rappers and just basically everyone out there in general. You know, so it's one thing to rap about the hustle when you're going through it, but when you make it out, better yourself. That's my advice. This next story, glory to God. It says let's see if I get this right. I'll just say the number first. 845, 875. 845,875 people. Close to 1 million people have accepted Christ in Nigeria. So there's a big spiritual revival happening in Africa. It's pretty awesome. You know, Africa can be bad with voodoo, but I saw David Blaine talk about one time that the definition of voodoo doesn't mean black magic. The definition of voodoo just means magic from the African translation. Now, when it first came out, it was all spiritual. And with everything else, people started adding their own takes on it with the voodoo dolls and putting hexes and curses on people. That's where other people came in and put their own spin on it. It's just like, say, with the, what's it called, the Amish. Not necessarily the Amish. There's a type of word for that, Mormonism. When back then they had polygamy, and it was all founded on Christ first, and then they started putting their own twisted ideas in what is polygamy. So God does not want us to have multiple wives. It says in the Bible that He does not want us to have multiple wives. So it just boggles my mind how there's still polygamy to this day, and there's still segregation. Mainly not in America, they cleaned it up, but other parts of the world can be very segregated. Parts in England, I'm not saying where, I'm not bashing England, I'm just saying maybe in certain areas. I know there's stores that don't let people of different races in, and the stores say that it's their right, so it's a very big battle on how to live peacefully with each other, Because there's people that always try to stir up trouble, Okay, next story. They're going after the next generation. Christian psychiatrist warns parents about new Facebook app aimed at the very young. Now, just because it's a Facebook app doesn't mean Facebook is bad. It's like with anything, they try to put their own things into everything, So Facebook is good. God bless Mark Zuckerberg. God bless Facebook. Let's see here. I wish Facebook would help monetize us just like YouTube is. God bless YouTube. Okay, let's see. Next, the same story. Let's see what this is talking about here. It's saying that supposedly this app is marketing to 6-year-olds and around that age. So let's see here. And mental health professionals are pushing back, even sending letters to Mark Zuckerberg asking him to reverse course. Let's see what this app is. Okay, so what does this app do? What's so bad about it? Is it sending ads? I mean, what is it doing? I mean, like flooding ads, it's okay for ads to be going through, but to be flooding it is another thing. Flooding your emails with it. That's not what it's saying that's happening here. I'm trying to find what's wrong with it. I can't find it yet. I'm not finding anything. I'm not even finding what the thing is called. Okay, so it's called Facebook Messenger Kids. And I think this is only where only the kids can talk with the other kids, and not adults. So I think that's what it's saying here. But I mean, it's very hard for that to happen because, the parents are still monitoring what their kids are doing. So it's very confusing. They're saying it's like McDonald's Happy Meals. They're going after the next generation. They're not really saying what's so bad about it. I don't know. I think it's crazy. All these groups are like too radical, So the next story, Kurdish pastor says Turkey threat is bigger to Israel than Iran. Why is he saying that? Turkey's Islamic president Recep Tayyip Erdogan is the bigger enemy, is what Pastor Majid Muhammad said in a Kurdish church. Supposedly that the Turkey president is preparing the way for the rebirth of the Islamic Caliphate by rallying the Islamic Brotherhood to surround the Jewish state and destroy it. That eventually would be pleasing to the Muslim world, which makes sense because now that the terrorists are on the run, they want to hide out in different countries, and it makes sense that they're trying to prop up Turkey to become a Islamic state and a terrorist state. So it makes sense. I didn't think about that. So now that when the terrorists are starting to go into hiding, they're trying to find other countries that can help them out. So that is an interesting topic there. We need to crack down on these countries that are helping terrorists. Okay, next story. Let's see here. Secret government documents found in furniture. Let's see what these documents say. Australian intelligence officers have delivered safes to 2 offices of the country's national broadcaster. 2 secret cabinet documents, accidentally sold in secondhand furniture. Okay, so it was accidentally. But they're not even saying what the documents say. Again, a lot of this stuff is like, they reveal later. So, Australian, this happened in Australia, and they don't say to who it was sold. I wish they'd tell us the full story. Sometimes these stories come in drips and drabs, you know, so let's see. Next story is... This is crazy. Fired for being pregnant. Another kind of discrimination women face at work. So now a lot of stores want to fire women just for being getting pregnant. That's wrong, you know. And now, if I believe, like Trump says, even all the businesses should give women 9-month leave, you know, where they can have the job still open after 9 months, and they can take time off and they can come back to the job. Even paid leave, you know, there's some jobs that give you paid leave. You're off for 9 months and you still get paid. Now, some of those jobs may require degrees and all that. But, you know, when it comes to 9-month leave, even if they might not pay them for being out 9 months, they should still have the right to go back to that job after they have the babies. So, you know, it's hard because a lot of businesses have their own ideas and they want to run everything their own ways. When really, I think we need laws for everything. You know, we need laws like metal detectors everywhere. We need laws for businesses to treat their workers better. Next story: Cape Town cuts limit on water use by nearly half as day zero looms. So Cape Town is running out of water. It doesn't say where Cape Town is. Let's see here. It should say where Cape Town. I believe that's in Florida, right? Cape Town, Florida. But it's weird because Florida is surrounded by water. So how could they run dry? No. And I think Cape Town, if it's not, then it's an island. But how can an island run out of water? Because their ocean water ain't clean. And maybe it costs a lot of money to filter all the water out to clean it. So, I mean, you're not really saying where Cape Town is located in. But they're facing a water crisis. So that's weird, you know. Okay, next story. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, responds to Dumbledore controversy. Let's see what it says here. Some fans are upset that Fantastic Beasts 2 is not going to let Dumbledore be openly gay. So they wanna remove the Dumbledore character in Fantastic Beasts 2. Again, it's all a civil war that's going on. Everyone fighting with everyone. And, you know, it's hard to argue for one side over the other. Start your engines. Mario Kart is coming to your phone. Android and iPhone. That's pretty cool. It may cost money, but it shouldn't cost too much. Maybe $5–10. You know, a lot of the games on the phone are cheap, and it may be limited in terms of speed and size on how it runs. But more or less, it will be almost as good as the regular console edition. Second teen in Slenderman stabbing gets 40 years in mental institution. Man, they should have thrown her in prison, not a mental institution. She had the nerve to kill a young girl and said that Slenderman made her do it. And says she's crazy. Oh my God, man, they should throw her in prison. But just because she was underage, they say, oh, well, she's too young to go to prison. So they throw her in a mental institution. I mean, if she's in a mental institution, once she turns 18, she should go straight to prison. You know. New Mexico may become the first state in the nation to make students apply for college. Can you believe that? And what if the colleges are too expensive? That's basically forcing everyone to give up so much money. Being forced to, that's against the law. That's wrong, you know? What if people can't afford it? And they say the people that can't afford it, grants and all that. I mean, it's weird forcing everyone to. Because what if you're minimum wage? Not minimum wage. What if you're middle class and you can't qualify for grants and just barely have enough, and they still want to force you to pay to go to college? That's not right. Because a lot of colleges are expensive. It's not right. See, these are signs of the New World Order coming. New Mexico is trying to force everyone to throw so much money into colleges. And they're probably going to start forcing, 4-year degrees? It's getting crazy. It's not good at all. We have to watch out for the signs of New World Order coming. This is a massacre. Turkey bombs drive families into caves. So this is a sign that Turkey, the terrorists are springing up over there in Turkey. So the signs are there. Let's see here. Next story. Let's see here. Next story. Wait, what happened here? Next story is Amazon urged to pick LGBT-friendly cities for HQ2. Now, HQ2 is going to be its second headquarters that Amazon is going to build. And they want to choose an LGBT-friendly city. Now, the LGBT, it's going further than that. And now they want to start allowing all ages, and that's not right. That is an abomination. And there's groups like NAMBLA. People don't think NAMBLA is a real thing, but it is. And now there's this other one called Clover Gender. It's a secret one that's springing up. And they're trying to allow all these abominations. They're trying to legalize it. And it's something to watch for. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah happening all over again. It's not good. Next story, and the last story, is how to lose your love handles. Now, everyone thinks just doing sit-ups will make you lose your stomach. That's not true. You have to do a combination of everything, maybe even jogging. You know, who knows? A whole lot of things. You know. See, I have the idea that if you shake your heart around too much, you can have a heart attack. So if you do jumping jacks or jogging, you're shaking your heart around too much. Now, it's okay to do a little bit, but don't do too much because you could get a heart attack. Just small amounts in a longer stretch of the day. That's what I'm going to start doing. I wouldn't even recommend 30 minutes of jogging. I would recommend, this is what I recommend. This is what I'm going to do. 5-10 minutes of jumping jacks for every 2 hours, something like that. But it's hard because we're always working all the time. We never have time to exercise. Now, with my job, I do a lot of exercises, so that's good in itself, but it seems like it's not enough, you know? It's so hard to lose weight. Okay, so that was the last story there. Um, and now we'll get into the topic of the day. The topic for today. Oh yeah, I just want to say this last story. Um, let's see here. I posted it. You know that guy of Stanley is in the hospital for regular heart problems. So pray for Stanley. He's the creator of the comic DC Comics, and I believe another one. I forgot which one. So okay, my phone's freezing. Come on, load it. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and get into the topic for today, which is how we should humble ourselves more. Humble ourselves more. Okay. So now we go ahead and pause the music. Okay, we should humble ourselves more. Like I was saying earlier, people make us angry with what they say, you know, all the haters and stuff. But we should not return anger for anger, you know. We should just be cool, calm, collective, cool as a cucumber, you know, and just let it all go. If someone yells or cusses at us, we should just ignore it and just say, okay, I respect your opinion. And that's it. And, you know, even if you say that, people still want to escalate, you know? And it's just like you walk away and they keep taunting you. Now they start pushing you and fighting. It's different, you know? I mean, we have to defend ourselves, but then again, we shouldn't be quick to fight as well. So I'm saying run away from every situation. How can we run away if we're being physically attacked really bad? You know, so it's really hard. But in terms of humbling ourselves, it goes way more besides just anger. We need to not be materialistic. It's just boggles my mind how there's all this materialism out there in the world, and how there's so much greed that causes so much poverty, and like these video game systems. You know, they make one game system and then a year or two they make a new one. And then so what happens? People try to sell their system and upgrade, but a lot of times they got to sell it, undersell it for a whole amount. So it's just getting people, it's the hook and bait, you know. They keep getting people to spend so much money all the time. And like video game systems were never meant to be that way. They were not meant, you know, PS4, for example. I'm not bashing PlayStation. But how many are them going to make? There's going to be PlayStation 50. It's like they need to do something else besides making new consoles, make new video games, make virtual reality, you know, like they have, what's it called? You know how they have with the Xbox, they have the Kinect. It's close to virtual reality, but you're limited to space. You have to keep walking around in circles, you know, and it's not the same feeling. It's not the same experience as virtual reality can really get. So, and in terms of putting a phone in the box in your eyes like a goggles, it's not the same. What virtual reality is missing. See, that's a topic for another day. I'm probably going to talk about virtual reality a little bit more in another show later on. But just talking really quick about virtual reality is, you know, the best way to have virtual reality is to have, like, what's that company called? The not the Oculus Rift. That's what they're using as the goggles, but it's called the Omni, and they have other couple of company prototypes. But the Omni is one of the best, easiest names to remember. The best, what looks like the best design so far. It's a little loud when you walk, but more or less it's. I mean, they have other ones that are like all digital and like like a touch screen for the floor, but that can mess up a lot, you know. So So the Omni is like a floor trackpad, and when you walk, it moves the game in real time. You can even run, duck, and all that. So it gives a greater virtual reality experience. Now, what's crazy is a lot of the games that are going to be coming out for that kind of virtual reality are all shooter games, you know, like Halo, Call of Duty, and all. It's all going to be like shooter games. It's a lot of that seems too violence based, you know. It's nothing but shoot kill, you know. So they can have more games like Minecraft, for example, and other kinds of other things besides just shooting. Other kinds of games where like you do other things. They can make a game based on the real world. That'd be awesome. So that's what they need to get into more. So going back into talking about humbling ourselves. Um, you know how people are spending $1,000 on a dress, you know, $500 on a shirt, $500 on pants, like $300, $400 on shoes. It's not right, and we need to counter that that brainwashing that's going on in the world through media, through commercials and all. There are all these companies pumping their propaganda of getting all these people to have all these expensive things. We need to counter attack that through the media. Like I'm not sure how to say it. Mainly more like I guess just creating commercials of a better product that's cheaper, you know, and putting messages out, you know, whether it be through Facebook or Twitter, and even YouTube, people YouTube channels, just start talking more about living a simpler life but better life. You don't have to live like a peasant to be humble. You know, you can have a nice car, a nice house, but don't splurge, don't live too lavish. You know, a lot when people start making money, especially a lot of money, they forget their roots, and they really don't know how serious it is, the impact of how they splurge with their greed. You know, so it's not right, and we need to convince people, talk with them, try to talk with them, and not living so lavishly. You know, look at Kim Kardashian. She's always exposing her body on YouTube and not on YouTube, on like Facebook. You know, that is wrong. It's an abomination. And how her posts when she poses for those um, when she does her poses, you know, that it gets spread out to everywhere. I can't believe TMZ, not blasting TMZ, how they show it on Facebook. I hope TMZ changes how they run things and blur out what needs to be blurred out. You know, um, they're making it so accessible that everyone sees it, um, and they need a restructure of everything. And we may need the government to step in to regulate the internet. Now, I'm not talking about New World Order like how they want to do with, what was it called? Doing away with, I can't believe I forgot what that word is called. Doing away with, I can't believe I forgot that word. But it's where they try to regulate the internet. They need to regulate it in a good way, not in a bad way. I think it was called, I forgot what that word is called. So basically, they need to restructure the whole thing, because the way it is right now is not right, and it needs to change. So what else could humbling ourselves be more besides money and anger? I mean, there could be so many ways also. It's very hard to think right off the bat of different ways. And humbling ourselves goes more to just being a better person. It also makes other people be better people, you know? and we need to be happier more throughout the day because it's like a chain reaction that makes other people happier. So um, I can't really think of other ways where we can humble ourselves better. But basically, that concept, it needs to be out there all the time because it's just people. It's like a drug to them. You know, they love to show off, and they get addicted to that. And we need to convince them to do away with materialism and all this new stuff. It should not have to be expensive. It should be cheaper, and we may have to talk with the government to make it cheaper. See, there needs to be laws on everything. There needs to be a new law to make everything cheaper, like solar panels and electric cars, so we could save more money instead of using gasoline all the time. We need to really not just protest to the government, not just send letters, but actually, like it's hard because it seems the only way to really make a difference is if you're in Washington D.C. and you go to Capitol Hill and say a little speech, a message. There is other ways you could do it in your own city. They have the little round table meetings where they talk about politics, but it's hard because hardly anyone hears that. So it's hard to get the global attention to implement these new ideas through because there's no outlet out there. We can't get on CNN to talk what we need to talk about. We can't talking in our public meetings in our cities is not enough because hardly anyone hears it. You know, even if saying it on Capitol Hill may not be big enough. You got to get. It's hard to get a group of millions and millions of people on the same side with the same mission. So it seems all that may take years and years, 20, 30, 40 years. And it just seems change never comes fast enough. So we'll go ahead and end the show out with a couple of rounds of EVPs. We got about 10 more minutes left, so we could do around maybe 4 each. And we'll go ahead and do 4 EVPs each on each phone. And like I said earlier, other shows I want to make. The show is going to be broadcasted at 8 p.m. every day. I'm going to have a 20-minute talk, and then 20-minute news, and then 20-minute topic of the day, and then 20-minute EVPs, electric voice phenomena, where you pick up the ghost through cell phone apps. Later on, I want to amplify this process and actually do ghost hunting and summoning apparitions in my backyard. I plan to summon apparitions in front of large amounts of people later on. I just need to develop the strategy first, So we'll go ahead and jump right into the EVPs. On this one, it's GhostCom for the iPhone. You just hold, and it reveals what the message says. Okay, my finger accidentally slipped off. Let me do it again. Okay, when we do the EVPs, we need to have silence because that's the only way. It picks up the whispers and it reads out what it hears, what it says. Okay, so with this other phone is an Android. The app is called ADV or EVP. The words in red EVP.
activates the button to start a new recording session.
With this one, you need to raise the volume all the way low because it says that. If it hears a word, it may trick the phone to read what it heard, so you gotta have it on mute. Okay, on this one, we got the words "ren" can be tedious. Now, what does "ren" mean? "Ren" can be tedious. So I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see here. And on this one, we got the words cherishing, and then either like stane or stan. Stane. Next word, evasion, and then premiere, then muff, and reversion. So a lot of these words sound like it don't make sense, but if we try to rhyme it to something else, maybe it could be saying what it was rhyming to. So stain, stan, I mean, I can't think of anything right there. Evasion, premiere. Now muff, reversion. Maybe stuff, reversion. But what stuff is reversing of what? I hope to receive predictions with this method. I've had predictions that happened before on this, but I haven't documented it. So now I'm starting to document it in this process of using YouTube. So we'll go ahead and do another one. Okay, we got the words. Now this one's hard because it's a lot of words. As you see, as I was trying to show earlier, it was too dim because the camera, it picks up everything darker. So now that it's fully loaded, it's a bunch of words you need to piece together. So this other one said on this phone said tonic, scathed. Well, what do you put on a cut that's scathed? Tonic. Okay, caliber. Tonic means like a drink also. It's good. Okay, caliber, jeer. Now the word jeer can mean jeep. Caliber jeep. Someone shooting out of a jeep. Could this mean something that's going to happen in the news? Someone shooting out of a jeep? I mean, who knows? Next one is damp, jump, choy. There's a lot of words here. Wow. It's rare when there's this many words. Okay. So tonic, scathe, caliber, jeer, damp, jump, choy. Describing, blush, ninth circle, dorsum, refuse, notery, opposition. That's a lot of words there. Let's see. Hard to piece that together. Anything that really means anything, you know, like we're not looking for caliber, scathe, and all that. We're looking for like stuff with greater meaning, you know. If it's a shooting, tell me where. I would love to predict things and prevent it. If I could have prevented 9/11, I would be a hero. You know, so so choy, what does choy mean? Um, Describing blush, ninth circle. What does ninth circle mean? That sounds weird. It sounds important, but I don't know what ninth circle means. Dorsum? That's some door, huh? It's pronounced Dorsum. And then refuse notary. Now, notary is a notary republic where you go to get stuff notarized, like as proof of something. So that's weird. I remember I was talking about hope to receive predictions. This is saying refuse notary. So this could be talking about predictions I was talking about here, which is proof that these EVP apps really do work. Now, opposition. There's opposition. A lot of Christians say that this is wrong, that it's a cult, it's witchcraft. It is not. You know, if we can help prevent things and do greater good, then this is definitely from God, you know. So this next one here, the reason I see it first before I show the word is because sometimes the app can cuss. It's very rare, so this show is cuss word free, so I have to make sure I screen everything first. Okay, so this one says, again, a lot of words. There's two don't words. That's funny. Okay, it says, don't be afraid of your confidence. Don't be afraid of your confidence. Okay, then I see the words. Wait. This is confusing. Don't be afraid of. Don't be afraid of self-confidence. And then something of us, your party. So something like that. We'll do one more each and then we'll end out the show. Let's see here. We'll do one more. So that was interesting. We picked up the words notary, refuse. So that's pretty interesting. That could be talking about like the predictions I was talking about. We're going to do both at the same time so we can see if they correlate. It's very hard to do this. I need to hold them with one hand to see here. Right. Okay, we got we got the words here. There's a word September. Could that be a clue? Something in September. It's saying, okay, it says, speak from the heart, September. Speak from the heart, be September. Speak from the heart, be September. Speak from the heart, be September. Is this saying Jesus is returning in September? Somewhere around 9/11? Seems so long from now. Let's see. So we're seeing the words speak from the heart, be September. Could it be something happening in September? I hope it's Jesus' return, but I hope Jesus returns before September. Because my health is in bad shape. It's not that bad. It's gotten better, but we're never promised tomorrow. And I like for us to all go to heaven at the same time. See, I used to have a really bad ulcer, and it would cause a lot of heartburn. I still have a lot of heartburn. And it's taken its toll on my health. It's gotten better, but it's still kind of bad still. So, I mean, we're never guaranteed tomorrow, you know. So, I would us all love to go to heaven at the same time instead of seeing any more relatives and friends dying, you know. So there'll be no more mourning in heaven. And on this one, we have the words Maldo, then facia, then courtline, then appy, then shielding. Maldo, facia, courtline, appy, shielding. Maldo. Facia, no, it's facia. Is that facia or facia? Could it be saying the word face? And then courtline? Is it like some kind of sports court? You know, tomorrow's the Super Bowl. Is it saying anything with that? I can't really pinpoint a word that relates to the Super Bowl. Appy, shielding. API. I don't know what that means. And shielding, so. Even though we got a lot of words that don't make sense, we did get the ones. The very important one we got tonight were the words. What was it? I believe it was something notery something, right? Rejecting notery is what it said. You see, the devil keeps wanting to reject our notery proof of Jesus' return. So that's what they're talking about. So we'll go ahead and end the show off there. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please tell everyone you know to like, share, and subscribe. I need your help so I can start monetizing the videos soon. I know it seems like a daunting task. It takes years, but hopefully I can make it happen faster than years. With your help, I can. And I want to thank you all. God bless you all for tuning in. Good night.